All right, guys, let's talk about the marquee matchup of this week. This has got to be the game that everybody's excited. If you like offense, let me tell you about Alabama and Kentucky. Oh my goodness. When you look at Kimpom in this matchup and you look at adjusted offenses, I mean, how does selling the number one and the number, what is it? One, two, here they are right here. Number seven adjusted offenses in the country sound to you if you want to see a lot of scoring in this game? Guys, let's talk about Kentucky and Alabama. Obviously, we know the talent on Kentucky. Obviously, we know the great transfers and the leadership from a guy like Mark Sears on Alabama. What are your guys' thoughts on what this incredible basketball game can be?
Shoot, I don't know if we're going to know the difference between the game tonight with the NBA All-Star game or the game in Saturday at Rupp. Hey, you probably say that about Alabama's next two matchups against Florida and Kentucky. Just the up and down. I'd be interested to see what the over/under is for the point total for both those games. But
If it's
this
not
one,
170, I don't know what we're doing. Yeah.
oh yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Alabama's improved some defensively. It feels like I still feel like Kentucky will have a front court edge, just like most teams are going to have against Alabama. It being at Rupp, I think, is a big deal. We haven't seen Alabama go win. We haven't seen them go on the road and beat a team that I would say is on the same level of playing field as them. Talking about really Auburn and Tennessee. I think they're better than Mississippi State, and that was a big road win. They got that done. But Kentucky, again, I think they have the highest ceiling in the league when playing their best. If everybody's playing their best. I'm going to take Kentucky here. I think it's going to go back and forth. But I think overall, Alabama struggles with times with a bunch of cutters. I think a guy like Reed Shepherd may cause Alabama a bunch of issues offensively. Just his ability to cut, his ability to pass. On one of those lobs last night, just a beautiful read against Auburn in the game against Auburn last night. I thought he had some good reads last night. Now, I'll say this. Everybody thinks Kentucky's defense improved last night. It played better. But how many open shots did we see guys like Aiden Holloway and Trey Donaldson just miss? Like open shots.
Yeah.
I know it's part of the game. But they were open, so it wasn't like they were just Kentucky was totally running them off the perimeter or not letting them get any shots off like you saw Tennessee do against Alabama earlier in the year. I give Kentucky the edge at home. I think Alabama's going to struggle just more defensively than they are. I think Kentucky's going to lock in and make someone else beat them besides Mark Sears. Can Latrell Wrightsell and Rylan Griffin be enough? Can he go outscore Antonio Reeves, Dillingham, Shepard, guys like that? Will Trey Mitchell be playing? I don't know, but I'm going to go with Kentucky. I think Kentucky's kind of starting to hit their stride right now. Really impressed, but I still think Alabama's going to get theirs offensively in a close game. Give me Kentucky at home.
I think those other two names are perfect. Griffin and Latrell Whitesell. Those guys got to step up for Kentucky
Yeah.
and for Alabama in this game. Absolutely. But you're right. There's a lot of NBA talent out there on that Kentucky team. Maddie, what are your thoughts and who are you going with?
I want to see an over/under of 200. I think both teams can get to triple digits. I mean, at this point, let's just have a 3-point shooting contest, and whoever wins that one takes the dub here.
I'm taking Reed Shepherd in that. That's who I'm going to take as my 3-point shooting if I'm putting bets down on that.
Yeah, but I think this is obviously going to be a super high-scoring game. While we talked about how we saw Kentucky's defense step up last week, I think it's just going to be shot for shot, and we're going to see them try and match each other. I honestly could flip a coin. I've got one right here. To pick the winner of this one. I'm going to go Kentucky since it is at home. I think Alabama's probably due for a loss, but it's going to be a super high scoring game. It's going to be a fun one to watch. Like Dave said, I think it's going to be pretty reminiscent of the All-Star game.
So 2 picks against the computer. Okay, so as you guys know, I've picked Tennessee as my preseason champion to win the SEC this year. They're sitting 1 game back from Alabama right now. Alabama's sitting on top of the league right now. There's got to be a path that comes forward. This could be the first opportunity for Tennessee to move up and tie Alabama. I do think that game in Coleman between Tennessee and Alabama is going to be monumental for whoever's going to win the SEC this year. But I'm going to pick with the computer here. And the reason I'm going to pick with the computer here is that Alabama's defense has been just a little bit better. Let me correct that. About 50 spots better in adjusted defense for the Tide versus Kentucky. And while we saw Kentucky in 1 game step up and play extremely well against Auburn, I need to see that happen more consistently for Kentucky for me to favor that defense. Now, they play great in the front court, which is something we've talked about they have a problem with. This is why we referred to this, these two teams earlier in the season as like these two are very much alike. Kentucky's offense has got all the talent in the world, but I like experience. I like experienced players like Mark Sears. I like guys like who can, like Right Cell, who can contribute, Rylan Griffin. Like I'm going to go Alabama here, and I'm going to take this pick because I think that number one, this can't be not unanimous on this game, and number two, I think it's going to come down to that game in Coleman for deciding an SEC champion. So I think that this game is going to be excellent. I'm going to go with the computer here, and I'm going to pick Alabama in favor of the Tides defense just by a little bit more, even though this game is in Rupp Arena, which is certainly one of the best places to play basketball in the country.